Okay, first performer, we have LaVonne Taft, who's performing Who is Right and Who is Left. LaVonne, she's a native Californian, and she grew up in San Fernando Valley in Southern California. She is a retired audiologist. She worked at Kaiser Permanente as an audiologist, and since retiring, she's discovered storytelling. And so she's been doing a lot of that, and we're happy to have her tonight. So again, LaVonne Taft performing Who is Right and Who is Left. Let's give her a, I like to clap, even though I'll be muted soon.
Okay, LaVonne, you have to unmute on your end. Sorry for interrupting.
There we go. Finally. High school graduation, senior prom, the yearbook, senior pictures, all-night party, class ring. But not for me. No senior prom, no annual, no all-night party, no class ring. Oh, I graduate all right, but not much more than that. My dad had been laid off some months before graduation, and what money we have is being used for living expenses. My dad is 60 years old, and he looks his age. Mom hasn't worked in some 20 years. And I just didn't have the heart to ask them to fund my graduation festivities. So I don't. But my friends, oh, they do it all, including hearing Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons in downtown Los Angeles. Big girls don't cry, they don't cry. Big girls don't cry. So what do I do on graduation night? Mom, Dad, my brothers and their wives take me out to Howard Johnson's for dinner, and I'm home in bed by 9 o'clock with my face in the pillow, crying myself to sleep. Big girls do cry. College is out. No money. Dad can't find a job, but I find something right away. In a factory, Varon West Electronics. And I'm now a proud card-carrying member of the Electrical Workers Union. And every payday, I take my check, I bring it home, and I hand it over to Mom. We're a family. That's what families do. Inside Varon West is a dull gray warehouse. It's like being inside of a gigantic metal cube, and this track lighting sends harsh light down, like an interrogation cell. I feel like screaming, "All right, I did it, I'll talk." My first day at Varon, I find my work table and I meet Linda. "Oh, hi. Oh, you're at our table? Oh, that's groovy. They told me to train the new girl at the table, and you're it. But first, I would like to introduce you to the girls in the crew. There's Sally and there's Jane. Girls, this is LaVonne. I think I would just watch us for now. And later on, I'll show you how to wire the parts." LaVonne, those two drive me nuts. You know that Sally? All she talks about is vacuuming up her dust kittens. And you know what she said today? She says, I think they breed while I'm not home just to make me mad. And I don't think she was kidding. Jane, she complains about headaches and she rubs her temples. So I think she'll rub the skin off. And then she goes out to lunch, comes back, and she's sloshed. We're gonna need some really good grass to help those two. Our next potluck here, I'm gonna make some really good brownies. Alice B. Toklas style. Okay, wiring the parts. See this rack? You take it and you hang it from those 2 hooks suspended from the ceiling. You take a copper wire and you tie it off at the top. You grab a part and you wrap it. You grab another part and you wrap it. You grab another part and you wrap it. And then you tie it off down at the bottom. You take another copper wire. You tie it off at the top. You grab a part and you wrap it. You grab a part and you wrap it. You grab a part and you wrap it. And then you tie it off at the bottom. And you do it row by row by row until that rack's finished. And then you lift it, pass it off, and you get another rack. Hook on those hooks, and you grab another wire. Tie it off at the top, grab a part and you wrap it, grab a part and you wrap it, grab a part and you wrap it, and then tie it down. And you do it row by row by row, rack by rack by rack, until the day is over. These parts, they're junked in real gold. And then the parts go into radios and TVs. Hey, you got kids? No? You're lucky. I have a little boy, he's 3. My boyfriend is long gone, a real twerp. And it's so hard to party when you have a kid. But tonight, I'm gonna drop Mikey off at my sister's, and my new boyfriend's coming over, and we're going back to his place. You wanna come? No? And then there's Janice, blonde, frizzy-haired Janice from Quality Control. You can usually find her silhouetted on the open door to the warehouse, always on a smoke break. She has spotted me on one of my many treks to the water fountain to take no-dos. I am so bored and sleepy. Hey, what's those little white pills you got there? One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small, and the ones that mother gives you don't do anything at all. Ha ha ha. They're no-dos, Janice. Oh, so are mine. I hate this place. It's like a scene from a Dickens novel. I feel like David Copperfield or Oliver. This has got to be debtor's prison. And if I see one more rack and those parts, I'll until one day, my salvation is transferred to my table right next to me. Eleanor. She's 20 years my senior, probably in her mid-40s, but we become fast friends. She has 5 kids, and every day she tells us stories about their antics. We laugh all day, we talk all day. I don't even mind coming into work now because I know that I can talk with Eleanor, and we grow closer. I just love you, Eleanor. Love you too, sweetie. One day, I thought about it and I said, Eleanor is Filipina. And I remember she told me that she grew up in the Philippines. And so I asked her, hey, Eleanor, it must have been really cool to grow up in the Philippines, huh? Not so much. Oh, I grew up in the Philippines and I was happy in my village. But in 1941, I was a young bride with a new baby daughter. And we got word that the Japanese had invaded my country some 10 hours after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. We got word that the soldiers were marching towards our village. They were spotted by the sugarcane workers in the fields. And they said to us, drop everything and run to the mountains. And we did, with just the clothes that we had on. We saw food we could have gathered, but we were running. If only we had had baskets or a cart to carry the food we had to pass up. We crossed a vacant farm that had calabaza, yellow squash still growing, but we couldn't gather it. We did grab bananas and some bayabas and even some guava leaves that you can boil to make tea, but not very much. Whatever we gathered, we had to be able to hold it in our hands. We saw deer, we saw wild hog, and we saw caribou, but we had no way to hunt and no cooking pots. So little food. What food we had on the hike to the mountains went quickly. So little water. Water. I couldn't bring in my milk, and my baby died. My baby girl. I grieved so my hair fell out. Oh, Eleanor. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. How unimportant my non-graduation celebration and bummer job seems now. My experience, a disappointment. Eleanor's, a tragedy. It's been 50 years and I still often think of Eleanor. And a quote by Bertrand Russell: war does not determine who is right, only who is left. Later on, I quit Baritron and I start college. Eleanor has 5 children, but there's always the one that is lost.
Thank you so much, LaVonne. Oh, they're doing the wave. I like that. I should know that. I got kids. Thank you. That was really beautiful. Bridget, is your mic working?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, coming up next, we have 2 performers that are performing together, and one of them is Charlie Varon, and all of you know Charlie Varon. Not only is he a solo performance teacher, director, and performer, he's actually on our Teledon Tuesday advisory committee, so he is a big part of what we do here. But tonight, he is joined by Myra Levy, who is his partner and collaborator for Work, Life, and Offspring since 1979. And while Charlie is best known to Marsh audiences for his solo shows Rush Limbaugh in Night School and Rabbi Sam, and for directing Dan Hoyle's many hit shows, Myra is an introvert, activist, artist, and nonprofit finance professional. Their current collaboration, which you'll be seeing tonight, is entitled What? Me Phonebank? So let's give them a warm welcome, and we'll see Charlie and Myra.
Friends, what are we living through? Let's just take a moment and notice what we're living through. I'm not even going to try to characterize it. It's a lot. And I'll tell you, if I were to really think about it, which I do not do that often, what feels most appropriate to do would be to run down the street naked screaming. But I'm an introvert, so I'm not going to do that, at least not so far. And even if I did, I would have to wear a mask and then my glasses would steam up, so that's not going to work. I've always been an activist, but I was never much involved in electoral politics. I'm one of those people who, in the middle of 2016, thought, I don't much like Hillary, but okay, I'll vote for her. Compared to now, when what I think instead is, how can I do more to make sure this never happens again? And in between, I got involved with Indivisible and with Swing Left San Francisco because they have strategic plans about what we can do to turn the situation around. But even then, even involved in those organizations, phone banking and canvassing were things I thought I would never do. The first time I canvassed outside of San Francisco was 2 years ago for the midterm elections. Like some of you, I went door to door in the Central Valley with another person, and it was difficult, it was challenging, but it was also satisfying because I came to feel it was almost like people were sitting behind their doors, just waiting for someone to knock and ask them what did they think about what was going on in the country. And it felt like a real service just to listen to them and pay attention. And those are things I know how to do. If I could, I would be going door to door now, but not during a global pandemic. So I've had to pivot from canvassing to phone banking.
Unlike Myra, I have been preparing to make phone calls to voters for a very, very long time. I have been calling strangers on the phone since I was a kid. My friend Mark and I think we might have been 13, 14, maybe as old as 15. What we would do of an afternoon is we would open the phone book to a page at random. We'd select a name and a phone number. And one of us, using the rotary phone on the kitchen wall in Mark's apartment, would dial the 7 digits. And the other would just observe and quietly cheerlead. I might say, yes, is this Ms. Rogers? Oh, hi, Ms. Rogers. My name is Walter Ambrouchette. I'm calling from the Research Testing Bureau of America, and we're calling to inquire about some of the products that might be in your household. May I ask, ma'am, if you use the peanut butter? This was one of Mark and my favorite locutions, to just insert the word the, kind of at random. Do you use the peanut butter? You do. You do. May I ask, ma'am, if you use the Jif brand of peanut butter? Oh, I see. You use the Skippy. And so it would go call after call, hysterical laughter in between calls, the joys of teenagerdom. That was a long time ago. Now, the phone calls that I'm making to strangers are a little bit different. I'm calling voters in Arizona, trying to help elect Democrats. A couple of weeks ago, I talked to a guy in the town of Holbrook, Arizona. He was actually driving, but he made time to talk to me. I asked him, when our candidates get elected, what is the first thing that you would want them to change? And this guy, who the screen in front of me told me was in his early 40s, his name was Jason. Jason took a long pause and he said, well, my town and my community are dying. I said, tell me more. He said, there's no work. He said he himself had been laid off. He said he was a mechanic by trade, but he'd lost his job because of the pandemic. He said that he had applied for a federal loan for $10,000. He was waiting to see if it came through. He said he and his wife were having to homeschool their daughter. His wife had to work full-time managing a gas station. They wouldn't let her have any time off. Even when he got really sick, not with COVID, with something else, but he was afraid to go to the hospital because of the pandemic. And he said, the town is dying. I said, thank you for telling me what's going on. Would you like to have one of our candidates give you a call? They need to hear about this. Another long pause. And then he said, they would call me? I said, yeah. And he said, okay. And so I marked down to have one of the candidates running for the state legislature in Arizona to call him. Another call. I reached a woman named Marcia who lived in the outskirts of Phoenix. Like me, she's in her early 60s. And I asked her, when our candidates get elected, what's the first thing you would want them to do or change or fix? She immediately said police violence. And I said, tell me more. And she started talking to me about the career she'd had. She was a retired police officer, an African-American woman who had served on the Cleveland City Police for 17 years. And she started talking to me about her fellow police officers, the white officers, a lot of whom did not know the communities that they were serving in, did not respect the people, did not know how to de-escalate a situation. As she talked, the intensity in her voice rose. She told me, and the judges let these cops get away with murder. And then she told me about what she thought about Trump's executive order on the police. She said, it's BS. She talked to me for 10 minutes. And these are the voices I still hear as I read the news, as I think about what's going on in this unprecedented, terrifying, sometimes hopeful time that we're living in. Now, the reason that we are calling Arizona is that Arizona is a swing state. It is our nearest swing state to California. And it's what they call a triple flip state. If we win everything in Arizona, it could be enormous. We have the chance in 2020 for Arizonans to help put Joe Biden in the White House.
11 electoral votes.
11 electoral votes. And Mark Kelly, the Democrat running for Senate, could flip the Republican-held seat and help flip the United States Senate from Republican to Democrat. And then there are all of these local races, these state legislative races. The Arizona state legislature is pretty closely divided. It's still Republican held, but this is the year that Democrats could flip the Arizona state legislature, which could do wonderful things, not just for policy, but for the redistricting that happens every 10 years. Arizona is a very important state.
So it's way harder for me to make phone calls than it is for Charlie, calls to voters. Remember, introvert. And yet, I know that having conversations with voters and potential voters is the most effective way to persuade and motivate them to get engaged. So, and conversations means either canvassing or phone calls. So a couple of months ago, I signed up to Phonebank. And I woke up that morning and I thought, shit, this is my day to Phonebank. And then as the time got closer, I thought, is it too late to back out? And then I logged into the Zoom call and there were faces like here. And I thought, I'm one of those faces now. I guess I'm making phone calls today. And then there was a brief training and then it was over. And so I made some calls. And to be honest, it really was hard. And I felt terrible. I felt like I had failed. I'd failed our country. I'd failed my friends. For hours afterwards, I just felt terrible. Charlie had to talk me down. It was not pretty, let me just say. So the next week, I tried it again anyway, and I made 25 calls. I spoke with 3 voters, which is pretty good. And I recruited one of them to volunteer, which is gold. And I survived. So I've kept at it. And what I've learned is basically this. No matter how much I prepare, and introverts love to prepare, this is what phone banking looks like for me. I see the number, I punch it in, and as it's ringing, I'm thinking, I hope they don't answer, I hope they don't answer, I hope they don't answer, with every call. And you know what? A lot of times they don't. And part of me just wants to stop, just wants to let somebody else do this, maybe elves or something, maybe Charlie could just do my calls too. But then I remember, where were those elves in 2016 when we needed them? So I persist. Now, November 3rd is 70 days from today. You can practically count that on your fingers. And not only that, November 3rd is the end, not the beginning. With mail-in ballots and early voting, it's really a lot sooner. It's somehow both too soon and not soon enough at the same time. But anyway, what I try to remember is this. The most difficult thing is waking up every morning with this guy in the White House. And compared to that, yeah, sure, I can make some phone calls.
Every time I sit down to call voters, I do think back to those happy days of my youth, those teenage years during the Nixon administration. It was a sweeter time. And those prank phone calls that Mark and I made were viewed with adult eyes, pretty pointless. Now the calls that we're making they're not pointless.
They're pointful.
They're pointful. And now it's all hands on deck. So before I dial that first number, I try to visualize the hundreds of thousands of people all over the country calling strangers, calling voters to win the White House, to flip the Senate, to hold the House of Representatives, to win hundreds and hundreds of state legislative races, and maybe, just maybe, to save our democracy.
Thanks.
Oh, that was great. I had to change rooms here, but it's interesting. That was great. It's funny. I came downstairs to get close to my router here, and I came in. The Republican convention is going on, and so it's all the. Anyway, I love just the speaking to the work that's involved and the risk that's involved in doing it too. And my favorite line is, "You're waiting for them not to answer," and a lot of them don't. Thank you guys so much. I don't have any information right now on Candace because I'm on my phone down here in that router room. So maybe you can introduce Bridget. Charlie, Myra, thank you. That was really great. Is Bridget on now? Okay. You know what? I actually happen to remember Candace's information.
I've got it if you want. I just pulled it up.
Oh, okay. I kind of remember what it is. That
I was
she's sorry, that she was correct me, that she's been noted as her work has been acknowledged in opera news. Is that correct? I read it. I mean, and for it's, you know, her great talent, and she is also on the faculty at UC Berkeley. And she, as David mentioned at the top of the show, she has a Friday fitness and singing program through the Marsh Stream. Is there anything else that I should mention, Bridget?
She's a soprano, yes, been praised by Opera News for her vocal clarity, dramatic presence, and expressive interpretation. She's concertized widely, including guest appearances at Carnegie Hall and the Manhattan Center. On the music faculty at UC Berkeley, she teaches voice classes and specializes in the research and performance of classical works by African American composers.
All right. So let's introduce Candace Johnson with Vox in a Box.
Hi. Oh, my sanctuary. I don't get to get in here that often. Okay. Summertime and living is easy. Fish are jumping. Sorry. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Ooh, your daddy's rich and mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Oh, what? No, it's okay. It's okay. No, come on, bring your laptop. Yeah, okay. Okay, what's the Zoom link? Just got to get this Zoom for my son. What? You know, COVID-19 school on Zoom. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the right number. What's the passcode? Uh-huh. So why aren't we on? Oh wait, hold on. We're getting on. Hi, Teacher Fry. Can you see me? Okay. Wait, you can't hear. Unmute. Okay. Now can you hear me? Okay. He's here. All right, honey, stay focused. All right. Okay. What was I saying? I was singing. Yeah. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Oh, gotta get ready for this this Zoom thing. I'm doing a concert online, and so I'm just running through some music. And I'm just so happy to be in this place where I can say, I like my voice. I like my voice. I haven't always been there. I mean, I like what it sounds like, and that includes the good and the flaws. When I'm singing well, when I'm making mistakes, like I actually like it. I can embrace it. Like I can give my voice this big hug and a kiss and just say that everything it is and everything it isn't is okay. It's okay with me. Like I can hear some great singer, you know, Mariah Carey, Idina Menzel, anybody, Renee Fleming. I can listen to these singers and be like, they sound so good, and not want to change my voice to sound like them. But you know, it hasn't always been like this. Summertime like just expression. Like I like my expression. I'm not trying to be braggadocious or anything. It's not about how good I am or I am not. It's just whatever I am in my body, in my voice, I'm okay. So and living is easy. Woo! There's such a bad yeah. And the goodness of it's like fun. You know, if I probably there are some of you who are really good singers too. And maybe there are some of you who you don't know if you have a good voice or you just want to sing and you haven't really jumped out there to sing. I just want to, for a second, maybe I can kind of take you and put you inside of my body and give you just a little glimpse of what it feels like to sing and to be okay with what you sound like. It's like the breath is reverberating in my body. It's like the breath of life. It's palpitating and it's like kind of intoxicating and it comes out and it gives a gift and it is a gift and it's just I'm really thankful to be in this place. But like I said, it hasn't always been like this. Like I have had a lot of people, a lot of different people tell me a lot of different things about my voice. Candace, you sure do have a lovely voice. You can sing anything you want to. Just remember, your natural is classical. Hey, Candace, I don't want you singing that classical stuff. Girl, shut that stuff up and just squall the note. You gotta like lean back and squall. You gotta do the high C like that. Like, that's how you sing gospel music now. Candace, you have some fundamental problems with your voice. You have air passing through the chords. Can you hear it? You should go see someone else who can help you where you are. Address those fundamentals and come back to me when you are ready. So I did all of that. Right? I would deconstruct the voice with my teacher, and then we would build it back up. Oh, no, let's go back and peel off some more layers. There's the core of your sound. It's got issues. When you study the voice, you also study yourself. And all of your issues come out in your voice. This core, we must work with it. And let's build it back now. And so we build and we deconstruct, and then we'd seek and not find, seek again and find a glimpse, only to lose it. And then, find it again. And I'm singing, and then something happens. My body does something weird, and it goes away. And I just decide to go silent. And then I sing some more. I mean, I've done so many different things over the years to try and find my real voice. But then there was something that happened, something pretty significant. I had my first child. So I pushed the baby out, and the baby goes, and it was like at the same time, I went, like the baby comes out, and then all of a sudden, my voice comes out, like all free and just like outside of my body. What? It was like an out-of-body experience. Was that me? I pushed the baby out, and my voice comes out. And you know that afterbirth that comes? The placenta and all of its purple visceral stuff. It was the thing that was giving the baby life. It was like, that was really like my voice. And when it came out, it gave me life. Huh. And I was liberated. Like, I was liberated from being concerned about what the conductors were going to think, who they were going to hire, what voice type the artistic director was looking for. I just sang. And I could sing Mozart, or I could sing a spiritual, and I was just singing and not caring, and it was just so liberating. And I'm convinced that everybody needs to have a baby. Everybody. Okay, so, right, I know, we can't all have babies, right? But we all can have an opportunity to be liberated, to like have our voice be birthed, and to embrace it. I know that I'm an artist. But here's the thing. As much as I know it, I've gotten a doctorate degree. I teach voice. I sing. But I'm not really being an artist. Because, you see, I feel like sometimes, a lot of times, I don't deserve to be an artist, even though that's what I'm made to be. Like, I can't be an artist if I haven't gotten the whole entire house clean. I have both kids on there. What? No, I did. I said I did. The clothes are in the drawer. Did you look? Third drawer in the middle. Look. No, actually pick the clothes up and look. My mom would have like handled this so much better. Yes. Well, I'll be right there. You do? Okay. I'm so glad that you found it. I knew you would. So I was singing, right? Oh, no, I was saying something. Oh, I like my voice? No, I don't deserve to be an artist unless those two kids have everything, all of their meals very healthily planned out and prepared so that they can grab them whenever they need them. Their Zoom links for school are all lined up, color-coded. I have all of my administrative things done. My lesson plans are ready for school. I've exercised. I have had my devotional. I do all of that, or maybe just some of that, and I don't find time for my artistry. And so I just kind of go around like being half of an artist. In my heart, it pains me to sit in my artistry. And I've just decided, oh, hold on. Wait, I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second. I have to respond to this. This is a crazy Facebook post. You know, one of those. Okay, hold on. Why did she do that? Okay, what's that? I need to give the emoji, you know, the one that's like, what? It's like that? Yeah, that's it. Okay, great. What was I saying? Oh, right. I have decided that no matter what, nevertheless, even if I don't see myself walking in my artistry for several days, maybe it's even weeks, I'm determined not to stop and not to give up on myself. Summer, whoa, daddy and mama, Simon, Simon, bye. Oh, shoot. Did I freeze? All right. Is she back? Yay! Oh, oh, thank you so much. That was what a great night. I love just the variety of the night. I love having two people perform together, someone singing beautiful music, and just a great story there at the top of the night. Just was a well-rounded evening. So I want to thank our performers, our 4 performers, for just making it feel like what Tell It on Tuesday is supposed to be. Bridget, did you want to say anything?
Just thank you all so much for joining us tonight. If you have a piece you've been working on and want to perform in this format, please be in touch. Our information is on our Tell It on Tuesday website, tellitontuesday.org. So yeah, write us an email, send us an idea of what you want to perform, and come be in our show. And we'll be back in September.
We will. All right, everyone. Thank you, Charlie, Myra, Candace, and LaVonne, and for everyone who came and showed up for tonight's stream. And David Hirata, thank you. One last thing, whoever's hanging on there, I know a lot of people are leaving because that's what you do on a tech. You can tip into the March tip jar. This is a free program that's offered to community, and so please, just don't forget to swing in a few extras. Thank you. Bye-bye.